Hey, we're doing the outdoor reading. We haven't done it for a long time. In fact, I looked back at, I was looking for something else for one of my yoga students, a video on neck release pose, which I'm going to make. So I'll post that for everybody a little bit later because I couldn't find it. But when I was looking, I found videos from last year when I was doing the readings outside. And I've missed doing that. So I was actually at the pool. I thought I might do it there, but although it's overcast, it's still a super public place rather than here on my patio. So I thought I'd come back and get the cards out and let's do the reading from the patio. It's nice to be back and doing it. Although when I looked at those videos, I was like, my hair was so long, but it's growing back. It's growing back, and we're loving the fro. And I love you guys. Thanks to those of you who have continued watching and keeping up with me through all of my various changes. And yeah, it's really nice. When I think about, and I hope you're doing this too right now. And I mentioned this in our reading the other night, which was to really make a lot of sense of things now, where things remain uncertain in a way that perhaps last year we thought it wouldn't be, continue to have this flavor of uncertainty. The reality is everything's uncertain all the time, and if we haven't learned that by now, that's becoming apparent. But the important thing in terms of navigating is that to continue to look back and feel through how far you've come. There are things I cannot do at this, that I could easily do at this time last year. I may never be able to do them again in the way that I used to. But I think that that's okay. I feel that that's okay, and I'm open to what will come. And being creative with the status of where I am now. And how that helps me grow as a person. That's one of the things that the greatest gifts over the past year is, although there are things I can no longer do in ways that physically express myself, my heart is more available than it ever was. And that's something that I didn't realize how much I wanted and couldn't touch, but now I can. So I'm grateful for that. So let's do an outdoor reading. I brought the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck and guidebook as a commentary because we're outside, might as well. And we'll read from the Crystal Visions deck, which we did not read the other night. So let's get these guys handy. I love this deck. It's a wonderful commentary. It's, again, by Krans. That's the Animal Spirit deck. So we'll pull from that a little later. And then that's the guidebook. And that's a really great guidebook to read from. I love the artwork that she does. And then the Crystal Visions deck is created by Jennifer Galasso. So I clear my energy, ask my angels, my guides, to help keep me centered, working from heart space in order to do a general reading for all zodiac signs for Saturday, July 3rd. So a lot of planetary energy. If you do not follow astrology, I certainly do encourage you to start looking into that. Don't just kind of let it wash over you and let it soak in. And just keep watching people like Dorothy Morgan, New Hampshire astrologer. Christopher Witecki, that's Sensei Christopher with Serious Joy. Those are two of my favorites. The Peace Dealer. If you're a little edgy, you can definitely check him out. He's a lot of fun, and he has some really cool stuff to say. But my go-tos are Dorothy and Christopher. They're very, both of those astrologers are very educational. and they bring the astrology into practical terms. And one thing, another astrologer who I listen to occasionally, David Palmer, said in a talk was that how the tarot is a commentary and it validates the astrology. The tarot is a perspective, it's a meditation. And you can work with the tarot different ways. If you combine it with the astrology, you'll be surprised at what that combination reveals. It helps you really navigate things. In some ways, the tarot would seem more concrete because the cards are right in front of you and you have artwork to work with, as opposed to the astrology, where it seems more abstract because you're dealing with planets in the sky that you can't actually see. But there is concrete, factual movement to follow with the astrology. And just like all art, you have to really, really explore through a lot of different perceptions in order to get the fullest experience. So I invite you to keep your open mind and make the sense of it that makes sense for you. You've got one card to keep falling out. King of Pentacles. Love this guy. Very solid guy. So speaking of solid, because when you combine the two, you definitely do come up with a very solid perspective. And that is a guy of solid perspective. He's a guy of the 3D. He uses his resources wisely. He looks at, and you saw all of those gems in his possession on the ground and then in his scepter. He's looking at things from a variety of different angles. What do we have here? Flipping out. Oh, the devil. Devil card comes in upside down. And then, yeah, so you're less likely to look at things through limited perspective, through the limitations we place on ourselves, and a lack of recognition of the divinity and the oneness of anything around us. We get lost in kind of our own perspective. But with the devil card upside down, again, combining those two keeps you out of that energy. Keeps you out of the energy of old patterning, old habit, old behaviors. And helps you keep moving forward in a royal way and in command of yourself. So, enough of that commentary. Let's see what we have. And I also, the reason I haven't been recording as regularly, if you look back, you can see some pictures of a big gardening project I undertook. Again, we had a neighbor who moved out recently who thought that she might take her beautiful gardens and beautiful plantings with her to her new location. It didn't happen the way she hoped. So I didn't want to see that stuff get pulled up. And apparently they would have done it today. So we got it up just in time, the last few bits of it. So I'm real grateful for that. Anybody want any plants? Speaking of King of Pentacles, King of your garden, right? Oh, goodness. Garden of Eden. I kind of feel like I live in that now, right? All right. So what's the messages for Saturday, July 3rd? So grateful to be sitting in my Garden of Eden. All right, we have two that have come out, the Hierophant and the Unknown card. Interesting. Card of responsibility with the card of the unknown. We started out by talking about this, right? Card of higher learning. Card of the higher mind. Facing the unknown. So this speaks really strongly to the energy that we have right now with Mars and the Sun squaring Saturn in Aquarius, and Uranus is involved as well. Mars is also squaring Uranus tomorrow in Taurus. And the Hierophant is the card of Taurus. It's the number 5 card, and so usually in the numbers, the 5th card in the major arcana, which the Hierophant belongs to, that's the part of the deck that part of tarot, any tarot deck, is the 5th month of May, and that is the Hierophant card. Things that are stable, things that are established, which also speaks to earthly. We had the King of Pentacles show up a little earlier, and it speaks to established kinds of things. The Hierophant, though, is not just, although it's, it's presented as though a pope would be presented of the Catholic Church, again, that kind of establishment. There are symbols all around this pope's head recognizing the unity of all. Look at all the symbols. You have the yin-yang, you have the Ankh, Star of David, the pentagram. What else is there? The Om. And it looks like this is like that. I don't know what that symbol is. You might. If anybody does, let me know. Almost looks like the kind of shields that the Knights Templar used to wear on their, And, you've got this cross as well, the inverted cross, St. Peter. That imagery has shown up in various messages that I've that have come across my radar in the past week. Oh, and then you also have although it's obscured, which is interesting, on the card of the symbol of the Muslim religion. So regardless, it's got all the major religions behind it. I'm failing to know what this cross one is, but at any rate, so it's not just the one. Although it would seemingly be, Christianity right in the center, very prominently featured, and the trappings of that all around. But all of them, all the major religions. I talked about this in a couple of readings ago. All the major religions provide the same message, pretty much the same message, whether you want to believe that or not. And they all came down in and around the same time. And in that remarkable time of our history, this was like the beginning of the age of the Piscean age, and we're coming out of that. So I feel like the card of the unknown, and I feel I almost feel that this individual is holding forward a ball that feels like Uranus to me, and which is Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and we're coming into the age of Aquarius. We're not technically there yet. I mean, it's not a light switch, right? You just go from boom, and it certainly back in the day when all of these religions were coming to the fore, it wasn't a light switch that got us from where then to the sensibilities and perspectives that we have now. Again, it's all perspective. But no matter which way you cut it, we're all one. We're all one. And not just people. The vibe of spirituality resides and exists even in the more occult, considered occult kinds of perspectives on spirituality. Spirituality is more than just what is occupied by these 5 religions. Believe that as you may, or not. No matter which way you cut it, and no matter how you want to skew those messages from any of the 5 religions, the major 5 religions that we currently experience, divinity comes in many packages. Don't skew the message, because that's the underlying oneness and love. Unfortunately, yes, the message has been skewed from every single religion and has been abused, which makes a lot of people not want to have anything to do with spirituality or recognize their own spirit. Or understand and let their spirits, everyone thinks their spirit is their head. It's not. It's your soul, it's your heart speak. Back to that touching of the heart. How can you expand your spirituality? Who knows? Touching into spirit may put you into the unknown. utilizing spirit overhead can feel like unknown territory, but it's wisdom. Very wise. And it doesn't have to be about seeing the future. Just creating your own future by being present and opening yourself up to the reality of what is. Something that's really stable in the reality and groundedness of what's going on in your current life. Recognizing your own divinity opens the doors to new ways of being. So what are the other messages for Saturday, July 3rd? Mars squaring Uranus is about the male principle, our ego, our drives, coming into a tight T-square, a feeling of tension between, something that's changing drastically, and it may, you never see it the same way again. Change of perspective. So grateful to all my teachers, my guides, here on this plane and beyond. And what are the rest of the messages for Saturday, July 3rd? All right, we have the Tower, hard to believe. So this is, again, that change of perspective. Something that comes in that is a crisis point. It's undeniable. You can't, less you desperate. Cats is not feeling 100%. One of these moments that come in and, change your heart, your mind, your soul, everything that, for people who coming toward with this energy coming toward us now, after what we've, all that has changed around us, obviously. Yes, that may feel very scary, very unknown, like you don't even want to go there. But this could simply be a change of mind, a drastic change of perspective. It doesn't have to be this, this card has symbolism in it, such as all the floods of water. It just could be a flood of emotion that you've been holding back, that's been suppressed for a very long time, that is finally being felt, that changes and washes through you and crumbles down the defenses that you've carefully built for so long. But, the lightning is coming. The birds of peace are flying into the situation now. And you can see the skies are clearing behind it. So maybe everything is coming down, everything that you thought that you wanted, everything you were carefully building, a way that, a direction that was you thought you were taking is coming to an end. And that, it feels like there's nothing that's going to come in after this but a bunch of like air and birds. But I am looking at the birds, and the birds are an air element creature. So for me, I do feel like this is a change of thought, a drastic change of perspective, a change of mind, something that will never, you just are not going to walk away from lightly. And in fact, you can try, but you're going to be going back to like a wasteland. I got to say that. There's not going to be a building to go back to. There's no structure. The structures are falling. The things that we relied upon are falling, crumbling around us in ways that, yes, can engender, sure, that uncertainty, the unknown. We don't know what's coming in. And with this card coming up with this, it's going to be unknown. The Hierophant coming in with this, yeah, things are going to change. Things that we relied upon, establishment type stuff. With the higher spirituality and going into that heart wisdom, the recognition that seeing with eyes of love and moving with eyes of love toward and an openness is what will get us through. Relying on our spirit, relying on our inner divinity, and speaking through that inner divinity to whatever is bigger than us, be it nature, be it, any kind of deity, any kind of higher power, bigger than you kind of thing. Speak. You're not alone. You are not alone. Remember that. You're not. Reach to a friend. Maybe that's your higher self. Excuse me. Go into the body. Do a bodily practice. Walking. Even if it's just around your house, your apartment. Get into your body. 5 deep breaths can start changing your perspective. The solidity of you is not a mistake. It's a miracle. What's the final message we have for Saturday, July 3rd? The Death card. So, yeah. Let's move the camera down. Enough of looking at me. Let's look at how these all came up. And they all came out in the upright. So, this is a straightforward message. It's nothing in reverse. Again, the Ankh is here. The Ankh is a symbol of eternal life. You know, that's the symbol of like Egyptian religions. Bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Pentacles, seeds well planted. 8 of Pentacles, having done really well with those seeds. Again, we have the Devil card. So that came up again, but this time in the upright. So that devil, you know, it is tempting to go back, but, you know, maybe to rely on the kind of work that we've done. But she's tattered and she's in tatters. You know, there's nothing about, but she does have, and she has all these pentacles. It's the wheel of life kind of. I'm getting like a wheel of fortune kind of feel off that wheel she's working. And, you know, being in the 7 of Pentacles, kind of, you know, being in the energy of knowing that the seeds are well planted, that you do have the strength, and that there will come fruit from this kind of energy. So don't be, you know, I'm not going to tell you not to be afraid. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I think that's what Susan Jeffers says. Another tarot reader who is excellent, Gregory Scott, talks about that all the time. I've referenced these people in my description so you can get easy access to that stuff and look into it more on your own. So we've talked a lot about these 2 cards and the Tower, and then the Death card coming in with that. Again, very undeniable energy, and with the Ankh and then the butterflies. But, you know, a lot of what, you know, the Egyptians, you know, they honored the death process. And you have, you know, this person, and, you know, instead of it, so we have, it is a symbol of somebody, you know, the Grim Reaper kind of thing, but this is one with angels and with butterfly wings. This is a transformational experience that we're about to go through. And the calla lilies here, I had looked up that symbolism, and it's interesting, I have one sitting right here next to me. The calla lilies are also, I'm going to grab my iPad real quick to make sure I speak to that symbolism correctly, because I think that's really a really important feature of this card if I remember right. Let me just go quickly grab that. You want to go in? Go inside, sweetheart. Cool off. Okay. All right, so the calla lilies, let's look that up. Like I said, I've looked into that symbolism before. It's just not coming to the top of my brain. Let's see, calla lily. And you can certainly, calla lily meaning, here we go. Yeah, see? On the one hand, calla lily meaning expresses the idea of life and fertility, while on the other, it's a well-known symbol of death. One early calla lily meaning originates in its ancient Greek culture, where the flower was thought to represent magnificent beauty. Let's see, let's look up one more thing, a little blurb here. Long associated with natural beauty and are symbolic of a wide assortment of things, many of which date back to Greek, Roman, and Egyptian legends. Let's see, what else do we have? According to legend, Zeus had Hercules with another woman. The legend argues that Zeus took Hercules to Hera, his wife, while she slept. Zeus allowed Hercules to drink her milk, and when she woke up, she pushed him away. In that moment, drops flew across the sky and created the Milky Way. The drops that fell to the ground then grew into beautiful lilies. It was said that Venus, the Roman goddess of love and beauty and desire, grew jealous once she saw just how beautiful the lilies were. She cursed their beauty by placing a large yellow pistil in the middle of the flowers. For this reason, the calla lily meaning is commonly associated with lust and jealousy. Still, the most popular calla lily meaning these days is that of purity, faithfulness, and holiness. The flower is often depicted in images of the Virgin Mary. For millions of Christians all over the world, calla lilies are a symbol of rebirth and resurrection. So that, obviously that is part of, Jesus, symbolic of Jesus Christ's triumph over death. So, if you're following Christianity, but regardless, we know that the ascension, many of us do know the ascension story of Christ, and in this particular imagery, it's featured with the death card, and it is a rebirth. It's kind of a phoenix rising, which sometimes is often depicted in a death card. And this Grim Reaper, this angel of death figure, is holding eternal life. The body may die, but we go on. What is the legend that we're leaving behind? And that's part of what we want to look at here. And how are we going to transform? Yes, there will be some things, just like always, that map into our life, but how we map them is the difference. Do we want to continue to cling on to the past? Yes, trust that the seeds are well planted, but do we want to continue working things to death? Like the Eight of Pentacles then leads to the Nine of Pentacles, but I've always been struck in this particular deck about how she's not wearing very nice clothes compared to the Nine of Pentacles woman who, there's something, there's a meditation on the Eight of Pentacles that speaks to it about being the point of a situation that you're done with it, you're over it, and you really want to move on to something else and something new. And in doing that, that's when you actually step into the Nine of Pentacles energy, which is, you kind of come out, you're like, yeah, no matter what, I don't care. I may not even have my new job lined up entirely, but I'm still going to, pick up these gemstones, so to speak. There's some gems at the bottom, in the grass, just beyond her reach. She's not really looking at. If she stops and picks up these gems, she'll realize, I've already done the work I need to do here. I can roll on and become that Nine of Pentacles. But if we sit and listen to, so we have the Queen of Wands here. If we overdo our, if we sit here and listen to the old music, the old tune, we're going to end up just, continuing to be in, in energy that is, we have to recognize that we don't need to stay in that old energy. We can move beyond the kind of, the thought pattern that just is crumbling. The roots are so deep, and are you going to stay here in this kind of awkward pose? I've commented on the awkwardness of this woman's pose in this card. She's kind of held captive by this song. She's, not even dressed. She can't even get, like, if she walks up and tries to get out of here, she needs to be okay with the fact that she's naked in order to get up and get out of there and go find herself another garden. That she's completely exposed. She needs to, you risk not being worried about the fact that she has not wearing clothes. Walk up to some neighbor's house and say, hey, can you at least give me a blanket? Because I need to wrap up and I need to get myself somewhere else. And then we do become the Queen of Wands, and in that passion to get ourselves out of these old situations, whatever that may be, a job situation, just any situation that has you completely out of balance and awkward. And then you're in that Queen of Wands. Then you're being creative. Then you're using your heart, passion, and your wisdom very well, and in royalty. And then the balance is here. You've got balance. You've got the Justice card. And, then you're your own spiritual warrior, so to speak. So that's the kind of energy we have rocking for tomorrow. And again, it's this that transfer, we can transform any situation that isn't serving us. Let's go ahead and take one from the Animal Spirit deck. Animals, what is the animal spirit energy that we want to work with for Saturday, June 3rd? Saturday, July 3rd, not June 3rd. Oh, God, maybe there's something going back to June 3rd that was happening for you that's important for you to take a look at. I don't know what that was. Mercury was still retrograde. I'll have to look at what was going on June 3rd. It's kind of important. And this one's still sticking out. Fire ant. Yeah, I'm not surprised this one came up. There's a lot of fiery energy going on. And a lot of you might feel very aggravated. And, you know, this, I mean, if we put the camera back down at all these cards, you know, a situation like this is bound to cause aggravation. How can we respond to this with peace? The important piece, haha, pun intended, I guess. The important part of this is to realize that all of these peaceful impulses are actually there. And what is a flood of emotion that is breaking things down, how do we still greet that with peace and an open heart? And with, you know, work with spirit, even though we are, you know, we're facing a very unknown, untenable situation. So where's the book that we can read from about our fire ants? Where, you know, how can we transform things that feel like we're dying? Death is just a transformation. We fear it so much, but we think it's not going to happen to us. But guess what? All right, fire ant, aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Following orders, rigid thinking. You know, how do we turn this kind of energy into something that actually is more flexible? Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free? There's that devil energy. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. When in balance, thoughtful, disciplined. When out of balance, argues, excessive heat, gossips. To bring into balance, solo time, walks at night. I mentioned walking, getting into the body. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to go for, you know, this, you know, long, you know, power walk kind of situation. Simply go walking for 10 or 15 minutes. Set a timer. Doesn't have to be something that occupies the entirety of your day. Get into your body in some way. Breathe. Breathe. The energy is very difficult astrologically. Listen to any of those astrologers that I previously mentioned. Any one of them will speak to what we're currently experiencing. And, you know, everybody, and remember that everybody's experiencing it. It's not just on you. This isn't just shining directly on you. It may feel like that, but it's actually something that, you know, that's the sun shines on everybody, and so do all the other planets. Their energy is coming in, and they're aspecting us, and we're experiencing them all at the same time as anybody else is. So let's give ourselves all that breath and that understanding in order to have doves of peace and turn these dying situations into butterflies, to transform. Use love to transform. All right, so that's the reading for Saturday, July 3rd. I will come back and give us a reading for the July 4th. We have this fireworks. I love you all. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, please, or comments, please don't hesitate to put those in the comments. Direct message me if you want your own private reading as well. You can also email me at lisa.loring@gmail.com, and the videos are up on Instagram and YouTube. So if, you know, your friends need to look at them in a different platform, those are two others where you can find me. Thank you so much. I love you. Have a great day.